social media, all it takes nowadays to spark up an online fight is to merely have an opinion. One opinion will cause many to spiral into a pit hole of anger where no one dialogues, only insults the person who has the unpopular or even the popular opinion regarding the latest trends in comic books, movies, or pulp culture. It makes sense given the circumstance. After all, acting tough behind the protective wall of the black mirror we all own and use on a daily basis makes it easy for anyone to jump right into a tirade of insults and threats. Again, just for having an opinion that they may disagree with. I decided to go against that notion. I've decided to start a video series where we discuss the hot topic issues within the comic book industry and pulp culture and provide you with another perspective. One of logic, reason, with just plain old dialogue between two people who have different opinions. My co-host and I will discuss the pop culture topics at hand in a fun, engaging, and respectable manner. So, without further ado, let's talk about it.
It's an inevitable change. I don't understand. And this is, I guess, personalities. I am disinterested in yesterday. It's gone. It's gone. I can't do anything about it. I can learn from it, but I can learn from it and then apply it today and tomorrow. I don't care about yesterday, which is status quo. And I've told young people, I think the biggest enemy you will run into in your life are people protecting status quo.
There you go. Hello, everyone. Hey, wait, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah. Hello, everyone. We are back to Let's Talk About It. The title of this show is called I Don't Give a... Can't say it because the YouTube censors are going to flag me because apparently the word is not allowed anymore on the platform.
You should make sure to clip that specific section out.
And the reason why I titled it I don't give a F or I don't give a f.
I suggest the less you do that, the better.
It's because of what I've been observing for the past few weeks on my timeline on X, things I've been reading on the headline news and comic books and movies. And of course, the YouTube channels I subscribe to and the people who are just, making live streams and making videos about how much they hate a certain movie, a certain TV show. So I wanted to try something here. I wanted to say words that I find not triggering to me, but they're trigger words when you post it. Yeah, when you post them online or if you say them. So I'm gonna start saying them. The Acolyte, the MCU, Kathleen Kennedy, Disney Star Wars.
Oh, how dare you! Oh.
Ethan Van Sciver. Eric July.
I don't know.
Heather Antos.
Don't know who that is, but what?
Tom King. Mark Wade. Comicsgate.
Oh no, not them.
SJW. Woke. Woke is broke.
Karate chops.
Now, the reason why
that's the show. Bye, guys.
Yeah. The reason why I'm saying all this stuff is because it's at some point, like when I first got back into the social media sphere in 2016, something happened, right? It was something broke, and it was obviously it had to do with politics. It had to do with Donald Trump running for president and actually gaining momentum as he was running for the primaries, which surprised, I think it's safe to say, everybody, including myself. And, something happened. Something broke in the minds of a lot of people who I thought, again, it could be my naivete, were rational thinking human beings. People who just like, yeah, well, it is what it is, and if he wins, okay, we'll deal with him for 4 years and we'll move on, and we'll find another replacement for him if he messes up the country even worse, and which did happen. But it was crazy to me how many people lost their damn minds when he won. And it was also crazy to me how
Enter all the videos of all the screaming people and all the
the mockery, the mocking of the people who supported Hillary Clinton at that time. And of course, it just, after that, something just popped in the minds of a lot of people. And for the next 4 years, people were just relentless on against Donald Trump. And again, it's normal. That's what happens when George W. Bush got elected. When I was 18, it was the same deal. Everyone freaked out because everyone wanted Al Gore to win, but he didn't win. And the Florida fiasco was its own little thing. But again, people freaked out. But it I guess played itself out, right? It did its thing, and now we're here. So at first I was very fascinated by this changing landscape, by this shift, right? The agenda, once again, I'm gonna use all sorts of triggering words today.
I know. It's just like we're gonna
yeah.
definitely get demonetized if we ever are monetized.
And that is that when I got back, I left social media after the whole 2016 because it was like, whoa, this is too much. But then of course I went back because a friend of mine told me, if you want to gain any kind of notoriety in today's day and age, you have to have social media if you want your books to be sold and marketed properly. That's just the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Fine. I go back on 2018, and the comic book landscape had changed dramatically, because when I was on 2016, the whole fandom was united. Everyone loved comic books. Didn't matter if it was Marvel, didn't matter if it was DC, didn't matter if it was Image, didn't matter if it was Dark Horse or Small Press. Whatever the case, we all can come to an agreement that all of us, no matter where you stood in the ideological spectrum, left or right or center, we all can agree we love comic books.
Batman is cool.
Batman is cool. Superman is old-fashioned but still pretty cool.
Spider-Man's cool.
Spider-Man is cool. Everything, right? But then something happened when during that time, 2018, is when the agenda, I guess, started to roll out. And that is, they started changing characters. No more Thor, now it's Jane Foster. No more Iron Man, it's Ironheart. And so on and so forth. Personally, I don't, again, like the title of the show, I didn't give a fuck. I just didn't care. You know why? Because I moved on. I had moved on from buying DC and Marvel, and I was focused primarily on buying Image books, Dark Horse books, and small press books. And then when crowdfunding was a thing, I backed a few books because I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. Like, this is the beginning of something fantastic, because now gone are the days where we submit blindly to a publisher and have to hope and pray that they say yes to your book. Now you go straight to the reader and say, hey, I got this book. Can you guys support me in making this happen? And the great thing about it was people did. People flocked to Indiegogo, Kickstarter, started mass supporting all these creators who had these great ideas that normally would not see the light of day, because publishers for the most part have limited resources. They can only allow so many people in terms of who they want to hire, in terms of writing their licensed IP, corporate owned IP, or even in the case of Image Comics and Dark Horse, who they greenlight to publish a relative unknown, someone who has a book out ready to go, and then push forward and put you in the spotlight. Get you your name, get your name out there, get you noticed by readers who are always looking for something new and fresh. We all are, and so that was cool. I was like, oh, dude, this is great. This is a true renaissance. But then something else happened after that.
What? Tell me more.
Comicsgate. Comicsgate became a thing. Comicsgate was a thing where apparently when I started looking into Comicsgate, it was like, okay, one side says, which is the right side of the ideological spectrum, said we are a consumer movement that want to keep, I guess, yeah, and all like Tom McFarlane said in the video I just showed you guys earlier, the status quo of our favorite characters. Keep that going. Action, sexy women, big guns, big dudes,
Pouches.
yeah, great stories, right? Great stories that have great art, great writers, so on and so forth. And then, but on the flip side, the left side of the ideological spectrum, you had people there claiming that Comicsgate was a bigoted, racist movement that was full of Nazis and, hateful people. And I was like, whoa, what the hell? That's new. Because for the most part, I grew up in the 90s. So in the 90s, bigotry and racism were strictly connected to neo-Nazis and white nationalists and supremacists, whether black, brown, or white. Supremacy was a mindset. It's an ideological mindset. I am superior based on my race, therefore you are beneath me. So those were the pinnacles of like bigotry, and the way it was taught to me during the 90s when I was going to school.
Yes.
So
Thank you for the history lesson.
Yeah, well, just want to give context here. And so as I was here, I was researching, right? I was, because I'm a truth seeker. I like to find the truth things. I don't like to take people's words for it. So I like to always, there's that saying, right? There's three sides to the story. There's your side, and then there's the truth. So I'm always searching for the truth, and the best way to do that is to look at both sides. Who's leaning towards the truth more? Because no one can ever tell you the total truth, because everyone has their own personal biases that they keep intact whenever they want to implement, like, this is the truth, man, like that's the way it is. It's like, is it really? No, it's not.
Earth is flat, man. There's this guy though.
Exactly. So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna look into this. I'm gonna actually read the articles, on the actual websites, the comic book websites, and about how they wrote about this group. And I'm gonna actually follow the people who fly the flag, because that's how else will you know? In college, when I had to write a paper on neo-Nazism, it was like a paper about I think it was my political science class. Yeah, my political science class. I had to research on white nationalism and neo-Nazis, and I actually went to stormfront.com. I don't know if that website's still up, but that was the website you go to if you wanted to know everything you wanted to know about Nazis, neo-Nazis. And believe me, guys, that was terrifying. I'll just say that. It was terrifying going to the website, clicking on the pictures, clicking on the articles, and I was like, whoa, this is hardcore, right? So that's what I was expecting when I Comicsgate. Well, anyways, long story short, turns out that it wasn't that. It wasn't a group full of a movement full of bigotry and hatred and all that stuff. It was really sincerely about, no, we want the status quo, and we want to keep our comic books cool and edgy and accessible to new readers that come in later on, because that's what got us into reading comic books.
Right.
And so the left side said, no, you guys are bigots and racist because we introduced these new characters and you turned them down, and you went on social media and degraded them. And for me, my rational mind is like, well, they're fictional characters. Like, and also on top of that, if it's not for you, then you don't buy it. And that's when I observed another thing. That's when you had the explosion of YouTube channels and people going on their creating YouTube channels where they would just talk smack and trash the books and the new movies coming out.
Hate sells.
Yeah, what I call hate grifters. And for the most part, some of them were on point and of course some of them were not. And of course I sift, right? I like to sift through all that stuff and go, okay, who do I lean more towards to in terms of like being more rational, being more reasonable, right? When it comes to why they don't like a certain thing. Um and then for a while it was cool. It was a cool thing to observe and just kind of take notes and keep in mind while I was working on my own stuff. But then as that kept going, we're in 2024. So it started, 2020 was the boom. And then, of course, COVID happened. So now everyone was at home. So everyone had time to sit on their chairs and talk
and read comics
and read comics and do, and go and do live streams and talk about their favorite comic books, or talk about the quote unquote culture war, or talk about what Marvel is doing, what DC is doing, what all these things are doing they're doing wrong. Everyone's doing everything wrong.
Yes.
And then 4 years now,
you're wrong, I'm right.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And you're an idiot. You're an idiot for not for liking this stuff and so on and so forth. So 4 years now, we're into it, and we're still here, and it's gotten to the point where it's become tiresome. And I cannot believe that I have to sit here and say, "Who gives a fuck?"
Every time
I can't say the F word, man.
I know, but you can just do F. You don't have to.
No, that's too square. Well, anyways, I guess my point.
Like you're saying it sounds like something else in my mind.
So here's my point to all this, to this rant of mine. That is, I've noticed a few things from this quote unquote culture war. I can see what the culture war is for. I can clearly see it. Not many people will see it because everything's surface level to a lot of people. But for me, I can see a little deeper into what the culture war really means. It's the dehumanization of your fellow man. That's what the culture war is. It's to further dehumanize each other more and more and more, which is why cancel culture was so strong during those first few years during Trump's presidency. Because by dehumanizing you, by calling you a racist and a bigot, now it's easy to, oh, did you know that this person said something on social media, and boom, they get fired. They lose their job. And that alone was despicable, And another thing I noticed was the fun was taken out of something that I love dearly, and that's comic books. Comic books and movies adapted from comic books. And taking away the fun by just shitting on, crapping on everything. And again, both sides are guilty of this. Both the left and the right are guilty of this. The left are guilty of it because they gatekeep based on your political affiliations and your political support. The right, they're guilty of it because they continue to bring attention to the negativity of something that people can enjoy. Maybe it's not for you anymore. And that's why I played that video before my rant, that video of Tom McFarlane going, I don't worry about yesterday. It's gone. It's over. Right? People who care about that want the status quo. They want to keep that going. And the reality is that, yeah, he's right. The glory days of comic books of the 90s and beyond and before that are gone. They may not ever come back. Maybe they will, but they may not. So my thing is, so where do you go from here? How does one fight the culture war? How does one provide or enrich the culture? And I will say that the best course of action, in my personal opinion, is to produce work that outshines the people putting the stuff out from Marvel and DC. Outshine them so much that it blinds you. And that's the problem. When you're focused too much on making videos and live streams and just crapping on the Acolyte, crapping on Kathleen Kennedy, crapping on Disney, Marvel, DC, whatever, Doctor Who, all that stuff that a lot of people love, the Star Trek, you name it. You continue trashing on that, you lose goodwill from the people who are just like, I just want to read a comic book, man. I just want to enjoy a comic book. It's one thing critiquing, right? It's one thing going, I read this latest issue of Spider-Man, it just didn't hit, man. Like it was just boring, it was slow. The dialogue was a little dense. It didn't really do anything for me. But it's not to be like, oh, they made Spider-Man a woman. Oh, I'm done. When in reality, it's like, well, did you read the book?
Yeah.
Maybe they just did it for an issue and they're going to go back to Peter Parker in the next issue. And so it's the doubling down on both sides. And the more they double down, the more they kill the fun behind all this. And again, that's why I don't care. I don't care anymore. My focus now is to make good comic books. Is that I want to shine as bright as I can to outshine those who are writing and producing books for Marvel and DC. That's how you beat them. That's how you win. Is that you pull the attention away from readers who are kind of going, when I've spoken to a few vendors, comic book shop owners who've told me my regulars just buy it out of habit. Because a lot of the time they come to my shop and I ask them, hey, what books are really like exciting right now? No, not really much. Then why you keep buying it then? Yeah, why you keep buying it then? Oh, because it's Spider-Man. Oh, because it's X-Men. I just buy it because it's of that. And that's a prime opportunity.
A cool cover.
Yeah, exactly. And that's prime opportunity for people like me, people like Michael Bancroft, 656 Comics. I'm just thinking of names off the top of my head. Hojo, who's the writer of the Mythicals. 656 Comics, the producers of the Kryptonals. Michael Bancroft, the producer of the Lucent. In these, Joe Catapano, which is Star Circuit. Neff Nefarious, who did Mavericks, the robot, yeah. the that book, those are the people that there should be YouTube videos and posts about those books. Books again that shine, and you could recommend to if you like, Robotech or Transformers or I don't know, Metal Gear Solid, you'll probably like Mavericks. You should check it out.
Pacific Rim.
Or Pacific Rim, thank you. You should check out, Mavericks. It's right up your alley. Or if you like, mind bending, stories about dreams and the dreamscape, hey, the Lucient. Or if you like team books with monsters, if you like, the Monster Squad, or if you're into like monster movies, the Kryptonals is for you, man. You should check out the Kryptonals. But everyone's so focused on Doctor Who is gay now. Here's a 30-minute video of me crapping on it. And it's fine. If you're into that kind of stuff, it's fine. I get it. I understand. You're pissed off because it ruined your favorite show. I totally understand it because I was there too. I was right there in the beginning too. I was like, I'm gonna listen to this guy because I agree. The new Star Wars trilogy sucks. And I'm mad. But what can I do about it? There's nothing I can do about it. Because Disney's going to keep doing what they do. They don't care. They don't care what any of us have to say about anything. And so it's one of those things where it's become tiresome for me. I can't speak for anyone else but myself. And that's the reason why I titled this show, I Don't Give an F. There, Kyle, you happy?
Wow.
Because I honestly don't. I don't give an F about the Acolyte and what Disney's doing with Star Wars. I don't give an F about what Marvel and DC are doing currently. And what do? I just ignore it. I don't pay any attention to it. I move on and I try to find the other books that may fulfill what I enjoy about comic books: escapism, fun, entertainment. And again, I love a good story too. And sometimes I love a good heavy story as well. But there's some occasion where I was like, I wouldn't mind, eating some candy every once in a while. So yeah, I'll watch a Michael Bay flick every once in a while just because why not? It's fun. Not everything has to be The Godfather. Not everything has to be a serious Christopher Nolan movie. I don't mind a good old fashioned fun movie. And to those who are still mad about how they ruined Star Wars, they ruined Indiana Jones, they ruined this, they ruined that, just think of that famous quote from the movie Casablanca. Is that we'll always have Paris, right? That's the famous line that Humphrey Bogart tells Ingrid Bergman in the end of the movie. We'll always have Paris, when he pretty much sends her off with her husband. And that's what you have to look at. We'll always have The Last Crusade, The Temple of Doom, A New Hope, and Empire Strikes Back. We'll always have those movies. Back to the Future 1, 2, and 3.
Well,
Mad
they already said
Max.
they're not gonna make any more of those.
Yeah, well, I know,
which
but
is
you know what
good.
I mean. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
You and I know that there's a producer in Hollywood right now who's chomping at the bit for Bob Gale and Bob Zemeckis to die so they can redo it and remake it.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
I
dude.
know.
It's gonna
but-
happen.
But people are so in love with it, and everybody considers it just being perfect as it is. I find it so hard to believe that they would make a sequel
Benjamin.
or reboot.
It'll probably more likely be a reboot.
Yeah.
Instead of going to 1955, they're probably going to go back to 1995. Who knows?
But anyway, are you done, or you want? Or
oh no,
you
the
still
last
got
thing I
stuff
would
to
like to say is that I'm going to switch it up to the doubling down on the legacy side of things, the leftist side of things, and the fact that the go-to whenever a Disney produced Star Wars show or movie comes out, or a Marvel thing comes out, it's just a shame that the actors, writers, and directors all have to come out in public and pretty much call everyone who hates it a bigot or a racist. And it's like, no, not everyone is a racist or bigot because of you casting a woman or a woman of color or whatever, or non-binary, person, whatever the case. It's because your show sucks. That's it. It's terribly written. It's okay. It's okay for people to critique your work when it sucks. And I never seen the Acolyte, but don't care to watch it. I'm not ever going to watch it. But the last thing I watched from Disney that was produced, from I should say Star Wars that was produced by Disney was The Mandalorian, the last season, and that was a cluster. Yeah. That was like, what is going on here? And it had nothing to do with the women directing it, the women writing it. It had nothing to do with them being women. It had everything to do with their skill set as writers and directors. They just are not good. That's it. It has nothing to do with your race or sex or any of that matter. I'm a true blue believer of what Martin Luther King said in his famous speech, which is he dreamed of an America where his children wouldn't be judged by the color of their skin, but by their content of their character. That still, when I heard that speech when I was 11 years old for the first time, that part stuck with me the most. And that speaks volumes. 11-year-old doesn't even care about that stuff. But when I heard that was ingrained. That was like, whoa, a revelation of sorts, because he was 100% right. He struck a fundamental human part in me as an 11-year-old when he said that, because I've kept it intact ever since. I don't judge you based on how you look. It's how you act accordingly. If you're an asshole, I'm going to call you an asshole. If you
no subtlety whatsoever.
No, I mean, at this point, who cares, right? I just won't say the F word, because I guess that one's atrocious, but not asshole, I guess, apparently. But and that's how I view, like, for instance, the showrunner of She-Hulk, because she went out in public saying, yeah, we did this purposely. We made this show purposely bad to piss off the fans. And that's like, go to hell. You are a freaking POS to the hardest degree, to the highest degree.
Fullest extent.
Yeah, fullest extent, because you just don't care. You don't care because they're overpaying you to write dribble. And if you didn't want to write a comic book show, then why did you come on the show and write it in the first place? And that's easy. Why? Because everyone's a socialist until they see that big fat paycheck. So that's what happened. They offered her a big fat paycheck, and she went, okay, I'll do that. But again, it all boils down to the content of character. So if I observe you, if I watch you on YouTube or read your post on X, and you're just posting nothing but negative crap, then that tells me that, dude, who are you? Are you just a cynical bastard who just doesn't like anything anymore? Then what do you like? What do you enjoy? And the fact is, when you really dig into it, right, you find out, oh, I know why. Because there's money in it. There's
Always
money.
follow the money.
Yeah, there's money in hate grifting. That's why Eric July was able to reach the numbers that he did, because he spoke a lot of truth during the time when not many people were speaking truth. And so when he gained his large reader audience, that's when he released his book, and hey, made millions, $3 million for his first book. But here's the sad part. Here's a tragic part about that, Kyle. I'm sure you know, because we and I talked about it before, is that the irony of it is that when he released his own book and then people were like, this isn't good, he did exactly the same thing that the people he accused of being a-holes did too. He called everyone weirdos. He called everyone a-holes for critiquing his work. And it's like, dude, you just, what? That's how you made your living. And, it's just one of those things where it's like, where's the line? Where's the line? I found mine. It took 4 years, but I finally found my line. And that is like, well, if we want to save the comic book industry, if we truly want the comic book industry to thrive and survive during these trying times, because social media, movies, TV, those are our competitors. That's the competition for attention, right? So if we want to do that, then we have to step up our game. And when I mean by we, I'm talking about indie creators, because it's plain to see now that Marvel, DC, and now Boom Studios, they don't care about the direct market anymore. I mean, we'll see what about Boom Studios. That's unfair. I shouldn't have said that, but about Boom Studios, because
I just got bought out.
Yeah, they just got bought out. So we'll see what they do after. But the fact that now Marvel and DC have corporate money flushing in to their accounts, they don't want their books in comic shops anymore. They want them in Barnes and Noble. They want them in bookstores because they want the prestige. When the reality is like, okay, that's great. You can still have prestige. It may not be in the way you want, but you can still sell a whole bunch of books and be well known within the comic book community. And even not just the comic book community, but outside of that too, because anything that's good always spreads like wildfire. It goes viral. Because people will always recommend great books to, say, for instance, novel readers. I really don't like comics. Oh, but dude, if you love like Tom Clancy novels, you should check out this comic book. It's right up your alley because it's like Tom Clancy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then they could be like, okay, well, I'll give you a shot. I trust you. You're my friend. I'll give it a shot. Let me borrow it.
Same way, like right now, where it's like with Titan Books on the new Conan story.
Exactly.
It's like a novel.
Exactly.
So it's like if you like fantasy novels, then you can, read that comic book.
I think so, Eric. I think so. I just posted about the new Cap trailer. I think I was fair, more observations than critique. Yeah, and and don't misconstrue my rant here. Like, I'm all about people. I'm all about people sharing their opinions about stuff. But come on, let's try to be at least a little bit fair. But at the same time, don't go out of your way and say, "Oh, then you must be racist." Then it's like, no, dude, no. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with whether or not the story they're selling me works. If it works, I'll watch it. Hell yeah, I'll watch it. But if it doesn't work for me, I'm not gonna watch it. And I'm gonna speak on it because why not? You know? Did you see who got cast for Booster Gold? No. Do you know about that, Kyle?
No, I haven't. I heard that there was rumors that it was going to be Anthony Starr, the guy who plays Homelander. But
oh, really? That'd be interesting.
But he made a comment that said that he's too old to do it now, and he doesn't really want to do it.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think at
find
this
that he's
point he
not.
might be burnt down the superhero stuff. He probably wanted to do
Yeah,
something else. The damn guy from Eternals. Which that? Oh, is it the main guy?
main guy.
I don't know who the main guy of the. I didn't watch that movie.
Yeah.
It was one of those movies where I saw it and went like, nah, not for me, and I just moved on with my life. I didn't care to watch it. But
the main
oh,
guy.
the main guy. Okay, so the main actor. I don't know who that is, dude. Honestly.
I thought they were gonna do Glenn Powell, the guy who did the Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
Hangman.
Yeah.
But he's no Booster Gold.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, once again, Eric, it's one of those things where Hollywood just does whatever they want, and they don't care if fans, get mad about it because they're gonna do what they do.
Well, so are you done? Or you still got more that you want to get off your chest?
No. I think I've said everything I needed to say about everything in terms of what the current landscape in indie comics, the infighting, the drama farming, the focus on that instead of like venerating actual indie creators who are working. I know that I spoke ill of Eric July just a few minutes ago, but just for the record, I have much respect for the guy for hustling. He's at least hustling. He's put out more books than I think most indie creators combined. So more props to him. But the fact is, his book Isom wasn't very good. It wasn't. It was a rookie book. It fell short. It was not all over the place, but it just missed their marks. And it wasn't good. And the people who were like, oh, they swear by it, it's like, no, I mean, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but it's not good, dude. It's not good compared to other books that are out there. But go ahead. Do you have?
If you want to see our review, check out on our YouTube channel. Okay, it's a lot to unpack there.
Yes. Go ahead, Kyle. Well, what say you?
Okay, so I guess in terms of I don't even know where to start because you've been going on for forever.
Well, I'm saying,
Okay, my perspective of the whole thing is that, like you mentioned, the fact of how you don't care and that the way to make changes is by simply ignoring it, and then that is the way that you can make change, I guess you would say, and that you don't understand, besides the fact that these hate grifters make all these YouTube channels just for the fact of getting clicks.
Yes.
That I don't understand. That I don't necessarily agree with. I come in at it from the perspective of like, yes, there are definitely creators that do that, and obviously it's marketable because everybody loves to hear people hate on stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So of course there's going to be people that do it, but I do think that there is definitely people out there that want, because they love the property or they love the IP or they love because it has some sort of connection with them, that they rather not see it being dragged through the mud or it being portrayed in a way that is hurting it in a sense. And so they would rather have their voices made known. So that way, because that way, if there's a voice out there, that way people can rally behind. And you mentioned like Trump being elected and stuff like that. A lot of people, the reason why he got elected was because they felt that they got a voice in it. And
right.
in politics, people were actually thinking, okay, this guy speaks for me. And so you get people like that in these YouTube channels. And that's the reason millions of people flock to their YouTube channels, because they feel like they have a voice. And if everybody comes together, then they might be able to make a change. And whether or not that the studios and stuff make any changes is besides the point. At least a lot of the time they do acknowledge the voices. So it's nobody likes to, be invisible, I guess you would say. People want to be noticed. Everybody wants attention. So obviously people are going to want to be a part of something, and plus jumping on the bandwagon of stuff is always very popular. So people, I think that's what mainly causes a lot of the culture that we see today. It's a mixture of people not wanting to be invisible all the time, people wanting a voice. They see somebody who they can rally behind
Yeah.
and make their voices known. And then in the hopes that their property that they love will be somehow either changed or at least have validation or vindication that what they're thinking isn't abnormal, I guess you would say. You
Yeah.
know, and so I think that's a lot of the reasons why you see these creators get so popular. You mentioned the fact too that like in terms of comic books, going back to status quo and going back reviewing the 90s and stuff like that. Personally, and we've talked about this on the channel as well, that was one of the big things of when I first started getting into comic books. It was the movies that were, make me initially go to a comic book store. But when I didn't see any of the people that were, in the comic books actually in the movies, like you mentioned, the Jane Foster Thor
Yeah.
instead of,
Right.
the Thor. Um, it definitely was a turnoff for me for not collecting comic books earlier than when I had started.
Right.
And it was mainly because of 90s books and 80s books that really brought me into the collecting. Obviously, like I mentioned, Kyle Rayner is one of my favorite characters. He was a 90s character, Green Lantern, that came out. So it's a lot of the things too that like with comic books, and you're telling them that this is the time for indie creators to outshine everybody else. And yes, you do see that. You do see that a lot with. I mean, you look at Image and Skybound. Yes, they do have um, the licensed properties of like Transformers and GI Joe and stuff like that, but people are flocking to them because everybody likes the quality that they're putting out. And in terms of making comic books accessible for average readers, in terms of like the quality aspect of it, um, that is a whole nother issue.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Of course.
Yeah, it's like all these things have different nuances, I guess you would say. And I go through and we go and we talk about all the new books that I get. I tend to just go to look at the wall and see what's there. And, if it hooks me, it hooks me and I'll buy the rest of them. There are some that, yeah, I'll just get out of habitual nature. It's like, okay, well, I always pick it up, so I might as well get it. But
Right.
I've become a lot more diligent and what's the word I'm looking for? Like not choosy, but discernible, I guess you would say. I don't know
Yeah.
how you would
Or picky.
picky in terms of what I actually do pick up.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of stuff out there that I just don't care for anymore. But I would rather, spend my money on books that I will like, mainly 90s books. But I also will pick up, and I'm looking forward to new books of people that I do like, And it's the same thing with, like you said, with Eric July and Ethan Van Sciver and all these indie creators. It's like, yeah, they went to them mainly, all to support the person,
Yeah.
and I do that to an extent as well. But also they have some good stuff that they write, and so my tastes have matured. Yes, there you go.
In there. In there.
Tastes. But and it's what was some of the other points that you said? There was
I mean,
just
there's a
so
lot.
many.
There's a lot.
I know.
But here's the thing, like, unfortunately, like an example, the same example with Eric July, he introduced a lot of people to comic books for the first time, but he
Right.
introduced Isom and the palette. Like Ben mentioned about your taste maturing, so your one's palette can be I guess for lack of a better term, what's the word I'm looking for? It can be, it can,
Altered?
yeah, it can mature incorrectly, I guess, or start off in the wrong foot, if that makes sense.
I guess I can look at it from that perspective, but can I can also say too, it's like, you can read something, and yeah, if that's the only book that you've ever read, then yeah, you're gonna think, okay, that was pretty good. I like this book. But then as soon as you read something else that's better, your perspective is going to change. So
Well, hopefully that's
obviously
the hope. That's the
that's the
hope.
hope. So I
But
mean, like,
you gotta get them there. And a lot of people were probably turned off. But this is a comic book. Oh, this is kind of, like, it's not,
well, so
it's
from the
not for me.
perspective of Eric July, getting people just to get to that point is a remarkable
Okay,
feat.
that's all right. That's I can agree with that. I can agree with that.
At
But
least getting them to the point of picking up a comic book, which is something that most people don't necessarily always gravitate towards. Like you said, they mainly gravitate towards movies and TV shows.
right.
So getting them to actually pick up a comic book is a feat in of itself. And
Ben says here, or you can read a bad book and say to yourself, "Yeah, comics not for me."
that's
So
true.
yeah,
And so then that kind of gets into the perspective of like, okay, well, what's on the preview that you can pick up? And I suggest, I suggest pick up, older books first, and then that way you can get some of the, the classic stories. But the thing is, to your point of most of these publishers and stuff starting to put more books into Barnes and Nobles and bookstores, well, most of the time they reprint and trades all the good stuff,
yeah.
from past, like Dark Knight Returns or Watchmen and stuff like that. They always have those trades coming out every single year. And so, I mean, from that perspective, you'll always get people that way into comic books.
Yeah, but the whole point is not to get people into comic books with old stuff. You got to get them in with the new stuff. That's how
Right.
I got into it when I started reading them. I started reading the new stuff, not the old. The old stuff didn't come until after I soaked in all, like, the monthlies that would come out, that I started to regularly pick up with my allowance money when I went to the comic shop, and that always kept me wanting to come back every month. And then after a while, it would be like, well, I got my books. Well, I got an hour to kill. Maybe I could start looking at these back bins here, see what they got that looks interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you slowly got to get there. It's a cultivation of sorts, and it's gone because there's nothing to cultivate there anymore. Because when you have, going back to the legacy mainstream, the corporate owned, Marvel, DC, all that stuff, when you have creators telling fans to go F themselves, or to telling them, oh, you must be a racist if you're gonna, don't buy my book. If you don't like the politics in my book, don't buy my book. That kind of
Right.
stuff. And that turns people off. They'd be like, oh, I'm not gonna do this anymore. What is this? And I get it. Not, it's one of those things where it's not inclusive anymore as much as it was back then. They say it is, but the moment they find out that you're not with their quote unquote agenda, then they don't want you. Like Mark Wade said, I'd rather see the industry burn before I let any right wingers, enjoy this. It's like, what? And the irony of that is that Mark Wade is a guy who fights against bigotry, but yet that was a bigoted comment. It was like, dude, you and that's how blind a lot of these, creators are, that are still working in the industry today. And they don't care that people were canceled out of the industry. They don't want them there anymore. And that's what's driven a lot of these readers out who, buy stacks of comic books.
Right.
And that hurts the local comic shops, because there's no centered what do you call it? There's no centralized comic book chain stores. It's all decentralized. So if one shop closes, that's someone's livelihood that's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who relied on that for their mortgage, their bills, their livelihood. And when that's gone, it's like, well, dude, you not only, and on top of that, that also takes away from local indie creators who may one day locally produce and print their own books and sell them at that shop.
Right.
You know, you want to talk about legacy, building your legacy. I mean, what better way than to go to your comic shop and talk to the owner who's always there and befriend them and go, I got this book, man. I really want to put out. Oh, you do? Well, let me look at it. And if I like it, I'll buy a few copies and sell it. I mean,
Right.
you can't go to Barnes and Noble and be like, well, I got this comic book. It's like, oh, cool. Is there anything else I need help, can help you with? You know, like they don't care because it's a corporate entity. It's a whole bureaucratic system to get your book to their shelves. And the fact that there's a lot of people who work in the comic book industry right now who don't want their books in comic shops, that speaks volumes about where their priorities are at. They really don't care about local shop owners. They really don't. And that's very maddening because again, you're taking away opportunities from local creators who can maybe one day have their books in those shops. Not just one shop, but maybe there could be a few around their vicinity where they could have their books out there. And then again, that starts, hey, what is this book? Oh, this is pretty interesting. It's a locally printed one. Oh, cool. I'll check this out. And not that's money into the pocket of the comic shop owner. And also on top of that, it could also lead to a new potential lifetime reader or buyer of your stuff. Oh yeah, I was with this guy from the beginning. It's always like a source of pride for a lot of readers when they go, oh yeah, dude, I knew of this guy long before he became, the Marvel superstar that he is today. I used to support him, from the beginning, and that could be a great thing for the fandom. But that's kind of slowly going away because a lot of them, like I said, a lot of them are being kind of pushed out because they don't fall in line with their ideological beliefs, which is ridiculous when you think about it. Ben says, I think of all the generations of readers we lost because the mainstream books like Spider-Man, Superman, Batman have lacked quality, shrinking the feature. Yeah, quality work has gone down for sure.
It's quality and then accountability of your quality.
Yes.
It's like there's one thing too
Yes.
that like it's one thing for like, okay, take this scenario. Okay, say you're, Marvel or DC or something like that. And I know we've already established that they don't care about the fans or anything like that. But let's say, given the fact, okay, that somebody in Marvel or DC is looking at the numbers and saying, okay, how can we get more people to read our books? And so they they ask that question, and according to you would say, okay, we just ignore them. We should just only focus and promote people that we like. We just ignore them. So then they, as Marvel or DC, are looking out and they say, okay, well, what do the fans think? Again, this is hypothetical scenario. They think, what do the fans think? Well, nobody's telling us what the fans are thinking because they've all gone silent. All right, so where are they flocking to? They're flocking to this person or that person. And so the only reason why they're flocking to that person is because they like them or they like their politics or like that stuff. So,
right.
And whether or not the quality is there, say that other person that they flock to, the quality, even though they like them, the quality is not there. So then as executives like, okay, we see that they're flocking to that person. Let's look at his quality. Okay, so then let's match his quality. So then they go and reprint Spider-Man, Batman under that quality, and then everybody's all in the same position where everybody's in lower quality. But because of everybody flocking to that one person.
Yeah. And that also, again, ruins your palate.
Yes.
It lowers your palate, and now you don't have the, because when you look at the Frank Millers, Jack Kirby's, we mentioned earlier about Jim Aparo. I mean, the list goes on of great comic book storytellers. And when people are first introduced to those works, it's night and day. When you're like, whoa, now this is a comic book, man. This is amazing, right? The dynamic panels, the pacing, it just goes on and on about how like you can compare the two, it's like the modern books don't compare it to, damn, like, when I showed you when I lent you the Captain America issue with the machine gun here, for those of you out there, if you guys know what I'm talking about, it's the famous Captain America Mike Zeck cover with him shooting the machine gun. 28 pages chock full of story.
Right.
That in modern times, in a modern comic book, would have been spanned out by like 3 or 4 issues because of of how long they want to take it. And Robert Grunwald, the writer of that issue, did such a fantastic job compressing the story without making it feeling dense or heavy. It was just right.
Yeah.
Just right. Where it kept your attention from beginning to end and never let you go once he captured your attention. Because the beginning of it is pretty much people on these like flying ski boards or whatever they are, kind of like the hobgoblin, gliders, and they hijack a plane and then they call out Captain America, and now Captain America has to go find the hostages, and that's boom, off to the races we go. Fantastic stuff all around. But
there was no real big setup that you had to do. There was no other like major things that like even in that one issue there was still even time to have conversational dialogue between Captain America and his number one fan and have dinner with that family in that issue.
Yeah.
Whether like, and like you mentioned how it says like that would like be 5 or 6 issues now. That's exactly how it is with the Jonathan Hickman Spider-Man. It's like, yeah, it's good, but then we have a whole issue dedicated to them having dinner. It's like a whole issue on that. So
and it slows down your excitement for it, right?
Right.
Like, it kills the momentum of the excitement of the series, which is what you don't want.
I am enjoying the series.
No, I'm sure you are, because of Jonathan Hickman. He's a top writer at the moment. But it's just a shame that I mean, that's his style. I mean, if you don't, it's either you love or hate him, and I love his work. But it's, come on, man. We live in the age of this. We want things now, and so yeah, especially now. So there's no time for that. So your writers have to kind of be a bit more creative in terms of how do I keep the attention of a TikToker, because those are the people we want, right? If you are a comic book creator, you want to target those readers, because those will become your lifetime readers if you get them early enough. So how do you keep the attention of a TikToker, right? The mind of a TikToker who's constantly just swiping for new video, or swiping left and right depending on your age. But yeah, those are the things you have to think about as a modern writer. But it's just, for some reason, they just don't execute it well for whatever reason. Yeah, it's just I'll share a quick story about converting someone to accept a more richer palette. I have a best friend. He is your typical moviegoer. If it doesn't look modern, he does not want to watch it. So anything that looks grainy or old, we'll never watch it. I don't care. I'm not gonna watch it.
Nothing from the 80s or
nothing from the 70s.
70s late.
Yeah, 80s was still passable to him, but anything but like before the 80s, forget about it. He wouldn't do it. But one day, this is during my college years. I was taking a film class. I was in film school, and I had to watch The Godfather for my class. And he was bored out of his mind. He had nothing else to do. His parents were gone. They were doing something. Whatever they get. Hey, Joe, pleasure to meet you, man. Pleasure that you're on the show. I shouted you out earlier. He came over, and I told him, hey, and I knew already. I already knew it. I was like, hey, bro, I'm sorry. I have to watch this movie. I know you don't like old movies, but I'm warning you right now. I'm going to watch The Godfather. So you can either hang out here with me, or I don't know, man.
Do your own thing.
Yeah, or do your own thing. I don't know. Your parents not home. You're bored at home. They pretty much sent you to my house, because he lived like 3 houses away from me. So he was like, all right, I guess I'll watch it. And if I don't watch it, then if I don't like it, then I'll I don't know, I'll go to the store or something. So he started watching it, and to my surprise, by the end of the movie, it was funny. It was a funny moment, because he stayed quiet throughout the whole movie. He didn't complain. He didn't say anything to me. He was just glued to TV. And so when the movie was over, he looked over to me and he was like, all right, All right, that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Wow, they can do good stuff.
But again, it's because it was just one of those things where sometimes that happens. You just need to find the right book for if you want to convert a comic book, someone who doesn't read comics normally, if you want to convert them, find something that they will enjoy, even if it's not comic books. Hey, you like action movies? Check out this old Captain America, whatever, and so on and so forth. But you want to talk about quality? I want to share this video. What I hope it was good. Yeah, I shout out your book, dude. The Mythicals. I think that's your book. I hope that's your book. Yeah, I watched this because this was done 10 years ago, guys. 10 years ago, and it kind of hit it right on the money.
Can't hear it.
Can't hear it?
No.
Really?
Oh
gosh, damn it.
We go through a whole process before the show starts of it making sure everything works, and yet still doesn't.
All right, here we go.
What happened,
Yes.
Dad? Everything's upside down. Everyone's taking sides and splitting into groups. Everything sucks.
Does that sound familiar, guys?
Yeah, everything sucks. Everyone's divided. Nobody's getting along. And there's people like your mother who are thinking about voting for a douche because she doesn't have a brain.
I'm doing this for the copyright. But does that sound? I mean, this was 10 years ago. How history repeats itself is mind-boggling to me.
I don't know what's wrong with people in this town. More and more are agreeing with your mother. I tried getting on community message boards and swaying people's minds, but it always ends up with some asshole talking about vaginas and photoshopping a dick in my mouth. That's where we're at today. Everything sucks. What's going on, Steven? Why does everything suck this hard?
I don't know. Nobody knows what to think anymore.
But how did we get here? Completely confused and with shit for choices? It's like there are other forces at work.
I'm just
other
tired of
forces.
thinking about it.
Other forces at work. Yep. There you go.
Come on, let's relax and have some member berry pie.
Member berry pie? Okay, I love member berries.
What happened, Dad?
And dude, right on the money, because Mema Berries is me picking up 90s comic books.
Or I was going to say, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and me watching, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, Empire Strikes Back. Those are my member berries.
Or I was going to say, in terms of the current, studios and stuff like that, dropping all the member berries is just look at Deadpool Wolverine, where they're doing cameos of everybody.
Yeah, there you go. It wasn't Fury Road, Ben. It was the Road Warrior, Mad Max. No, it was the first one. It was Mad Max, the first one, I think.
Mad Max.
Yeah, it was Mad Max, right? The first one. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's crazy that was 10 years ago. That sounds totally what's going on today. I mean, I know, Kyle, you're not privy to the drama that goes on X within the indie comic book community, but that's what's going on right now. All the groups are they're breaking up and creating this their own little subgroups. But I guess that's human nature when you think about it. Oh, I thought you were gonna add something.
I was waiting for you. I was just
Fatal, what's up, dude? Fatal J, it's good to have you here, man. Fatal J, by the way, has a great YouTube channel. He's one of the guys I watch on YouTube because I like his videos. I like his takes on things. He's a big DC guy, big, huge DC fan. And he looks forward to the Superman movie by help me.
James
Gunn, thank you. But
I'm also a huge DC fan. Like a majority of my collection is all DC books. But I don't know. I'm side tangent. I'm still not sold on Hawk Girl and Green Lantern.
Yeah, I don't give a Fuck. They're all damn it.
Ah. Well, there goes our monetization. That
Yeah, there
doesn't
goes that.
happen.
Bro, I didn't know you had. Yeah, dude, I've had a channel for a while. I'm not really on it as much as I would like. We try to do these once a week, Fridays. But yeah, thanks for coming along, man, and checking us out. What do you guys think of the Captain America trailer? I have not seen it yet. I just saw stills of the Red Hulk. That's about it. But I haven't seen the trailer yet.
I saw it.
Eric the Waffle says I'm a DC guy. Yeah, dude. Yeah, there you go. Eric is your fellow DC guy too. Kyle,
All right.
you saw the trailer, Kyle?
I saw the trailer. I watched the trailer.
What'd you think?
It's okay.
It's like it's okay. Well, it was a teaser trailer, wasn't it?
No, it was. I don't know if they call it a teaser. It was like almost. It was like 4 minutes. Not 4 minutes. A minute and 40 seconds or something like that.
Oh, that's a teaser.
Usually, it's like a teaser, but it had enough to almost make it a trailer. It was almost 2 minutes. So
yeah, you can never tell nowadays with trailers. I mean, trailers were supposed back in the day anyway. Back in my day. Yeah, back in the day, trailers were meant to hype you up for the movie, but now they just kind of tell you almost everything about it. Which is, but again, Fatal, I haven't seen the trailer, so I don't know. I can't speak on it.
Well,
but
you didn't even know that Red Hulk was supposed to be in it. Like,
you know why?
Because you don't care.
Because I don't give an F.
Yeah.
When I'm done with something, I just drop it. I drop it. I move on. I don't. I'm sure it's gonna be good. I'm sure it'll be all right. You know, I'm not. I stopped after Endgame. I stopped caring after Endgame. Honestly. Not really.
I think that's a sentiment of a lot of people, and I think that's the reason why people are more flocking towards this Deadpool Wolverine movie, because people are wanting big action, type. Everybody be there.
For a second there, I thought you were gonna say, "Oh, the people are looking for a big member berry pie."
That's true. Yeah, big member berry pie.
But go ahead.
But in terms of this and the new Captain America trailer, I'm still iffy on whether or not I'd actually go see it. Because like we've been talking about, it's just the quality of the work that's been put out. It's kind of lackluster.
Didn't they do reshoots for that movie?
It's like been reshot like 50 billion times, and it has like a production budget. It has like a production budget of like over 300 million or something.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, see, again, since I don't care, I don't know the details, but really,
it's not be like 300 million, but it's up there.
Whoa, dude, that's gnarly. Wow, that's not typically with reshoots. That's not a good sign that the studio execs are not happy with the product, so they have to go in there and
reshoots
and snip, and reshoot. Yikes! Well, that's not a good sign quality wise. And they wonder why box office is bad. Over 350 million for real?
Yeah, I told you it's some crazy number. They've been reshooting it. It's been in development for like years.
Oh man,
that's why I'm saying it's like the Red Hulk thing. That was like teased like a year or something ago that they were gonna do that.
Okay,
that's how long it's been like in development and everything, or like just rumor development. It's like a couple of years ago.
Yikes! Well, I wish them the best. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But I guess to wrap it up. Yeah, I mean, to summarize
wrap up the therapy session for you.
Yeah, well, yeah, my self-therapy session. Yeah. Personally, I'm the kind of guy who minds his own business. If you follow me on X, you'll notice that I just repost other people's books, other people's stuff, artwork, interesting things, that kind of stuff. Because honestly, I mind my business. I don't really care what others are doing regarding their own things. And I encourage other people to always, like, if you have an idea, if you have a book, put it out there, man. Like, don't hesitate to do it. But at the same time, you also have to remember where you're at. And that is, you're in the business of people poking at your stuff.
Yeah.
You're not going to please everybody. Not everyone. You can't win everyone, right? You can't win everyone over. You can't win them all, as the saying goes. And you have to develop a thick skin, because people are going to come to you and tell you your book sucks. And it's going to be up to you whether or not you want to really look at legit critiques. Critiques where that goes beyond, well, this sucks because of A, B, and C. It's got to be something that you can take in and go, okay, well, that's actually kind of valid. I do kind of see my weakness as being, my dialogue or my descriptions or the way I pace my page, that kind of thing. He said, okay, I'm caught up. Thanks for the camera. Oh, there you go. Oh, he rewound the video. Oh, cool, man. Yeah, it's one of those things where like it's become tiresome for me. Again, I'm only speaking for myself. It's become tiresome, and it's, at first it was fun. Of course, when Howard Stern was new, it was like, oh wow. But after a while, I was like, oh, okay, well, it's Howard Stern. Big whoop. And it gets old after a while, and you tend to want to like go look elsewhere for your entertainment, or maybe take a break from that for a while. I fought him. Oh, really? You served the country? Well, here's my salute to you, my friend.
There you go. But in terms of like, if trying to get the quality of the work that's out there, and and criticisms, that's the thing. It's like, whenever like we do here, when we review books and stuff like that, we give criticisms, but it's always constructive criticism.
Yes.
It's always
yes.
with the intention of bettering the story or the characters or the the sequences, the art. All of that goes in consideration, because like you said, we want, just because your favorite property isn't up to par of what has come before, doesn't mean that your love for that style or that genre or something like that isn't there.
Right,
And you
right.
you will still go out and seek out the different. It may not be, okay, for example, like Star Wars or something like that. It might not be Star Wars, but it might be some other sci-fi fantasy that you will go after. And so with the same they're going to still say the same criticisms, though. If somebody's a Star Wars fan and they say, okay, this is too hokey, this is too unbelievable, this shouldn't happen in Star Wars, I'm going to move over to this guy. And this guy makes sci-fi fantasy stuff. I really like his sci-fi fantasy stuff, but okay, now he's getting a little hokey and now a little bit stuff like that. Now it's on that guy to say, okay, am I going to be like Star Wars and just keep on going with it, or I'm going to make changes and stuff like that? Okay, I see. Yeah, it's getting a little hokey. I'm getting a little out in the weeds and stuff like that. Let's bring it back to form.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of people need to start to realize, that the criticisms are not going to stop just because people move on to other things.
Right.
People are still passionate about what they want. It's just that people are going to be less passionate about the major properties, but they're still going to be passionate about that, whatever they love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, it just, don't take it personal. And the thing that I've learned from the mainstream, and not just comic books, but also Hollywood and anything involving entertainment, is that a lot of artists, be it writers, directors, actors, whatever, what have you, even artists, are very thin-skinned for the most part, and they cannot take it. And it's like, well, you're in the wrong business then, because you have to remember, it's not personal. I mean, sometimes it is, because you're always going to have your a-holes, right? You're always going to have those a-holes who just can't help themselves and just have no filter, and they're just going to blurt out the first thing that comes to mind. And part of being a professional, right, is to have a little bit of humility. Not a lot of it, but enough of it to be like, okay, I hear you. I got this story in my head. I'm going to deliver it the way I wanted to, and I hope I could keep you. But hey, if it's not your cup of tea, man, hopefully, I'll get you on the next one. Everything I say is a personal attack. Yeah, Eric. That's the reason why I like you. At least you're real. That's all I care about. If you're real, cool, But as long as you don't cross that line of like, I don't even know what the line would be. It would be, I guess, just straight up malice. Just straight up malice. Then that's the limit for me. But if it's in good fun, if it's for like, Hey, you're a bastard. Ha ha ha. All right, cool. I could dig that, you know.
Depending if you know that person, and that's the type of
Yeah. I mean,
humor
again,
that they have.
growing up in the ghetto, Kyle, that you develop thick skin quickly because that's constantly the the back and forth between your friends growing up. It's insult after insult after insult. But yeah, just if you guys enjoy drama farming, hey, enjoy it. Like, there's nothing wrong with that either. There's always everything for everyone, and you know, kudos to those who have the large fan base, the people who watch their, you know, live streams, 1,000, 2,000, great, fantastic, more power to you. It's not my cup of tea. I could listen to it every once in a while, but you know, after a while it gets tiresome, and I want something more to chew on. You know, give me some substance rather than just popcorn, you know.
Yeah.
Give me something like, why is this bad? What's the reasoning behind why this show is bad? And don't just say, oh, it's because you don't like it because of you know, insert racist, bigot, phobe, or whatever. Or don't just say it sucks because it's woke SJW stuff. There's got to be,
because it sucks.
Yeah, there's got to be, why is the story weak? Is the character arc, like, does it fall flat? You know, the dialogue, you know, flat too. You know, just things like of this nature.
Avoid flatness.
Yeah, avoid flatness. I don't know what country Malice is in. I would like to cross it if I can. Freaking Eric. But Kyle, yeah, I guess that's the end of it. Is there anything else you want to share?
But on this topic or just in general?
I don't like it. It has too many brown people.
That's just like the show. I'm just kidding.
I did a Neil Adams thread on Twitter and barely got. Yeah, it's because, you know, unfortunately. Yeah, I'll try to find that thread, dude, and I'll read it through, and if I dig it, I'll retweet it, or repost it, I should say, because I, you know, Neil Adams. I mean, come on, he's like a legend. So I usually woke stuff sucks. It is flat and dry, kind of like those Christian movies in the early 90s and 2000s. He's not wrong there. Substance. That's the word of the day. But yeah, enjoy what you enjoy. If you don't like it, hey, you know, go, of course, share it out. But just remember, people are going to always respond to your posts, and I still say ignore them, and just say, hey, I said my piece. I'm moving on. I'm gonna do what I do, and that's what I try to do. I try to find those accounts who really love the medium. They are fair with their assessment of their critiques of the movies that come out. You know, though that's the culture. That's how you cultivate culture, is to develop that, feed into that, because the more you feed into the negativity and the hate grifting, I mean, yeah, at first it's fun, but after a while it gets a little old. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Shadow just coming on.
I know.
Face that comes
go.
in the screen.
And so yeah, that's all I had to say. That's like Forrest Gump says. That's all I have to say about that. But next week we'll be here. She's trying to find. What are you trying to look at? But next week we'll be here. We have an announcement for next week. It's a big announcement, so hopefully you guys can join us then, because it's big. It's pretty big news. We're excited about it, and we're gonna keep on trucking, man. Keep on doing.
Keep on reading comics.
Keep on reading comics. Keep on loving comics.
Hopefully the comics will still be around.
Yeah, it will. It will. I mean, highs and lows, right? Highs and lows, and you know, to stay in theme with the title of the show, I Don't Give an F. It's for those who came later, or who watched later or joined us later. I just personally, Julius Freeman, Elusive Comic Productions, I don't care anymore. I don't care if they make the Joker into a dog. I don't care if they make Punisher into a ninja. I don't care if James Gunn makes Superman into a cat. I
Interesting.
just don't give an F because I have no control over that. None. Zero. Zip. I'm an outsider looking in, and the people who control those IPs can get to do whatever they want with them because they own them. That's how it works. George Lucas chose Ewoks because that's what he wanted. Even though the fans were like, "What the hell is this crap? Teddy bears? How could teddy bears beat a machine like
Defeat
the
the
Empire?"
Empire.
Yeah, but he chose because it's his. It was his for him to do whatever he wants with it. And the same rule applies to Disney, Warner Media, anyone who owns those favorite IPs. They can do whatever they want with them. And guess what? They're gonna keep doing it even if you complain about it because you're giving it attention. That's the way they like to work. They feed on it. It's the Palpatine. Feed me, your hate. Fill me with your hate. They love it. It's like a aphrodisiac for them. That's why they say the thing. I think that's the reason why they say the things they say, because they know they're gonna shake up the hive nest, and there's gonna be a flood of YouTube videos about it, and they're gonna be sitting in their mansions up in Beverly Hills, going like, "We did it, guys! Ha! We got him." Now people are talking about it, even though it's negative. They don't care.
Well, until they don't actually show up for the movies.
Yeah, and then they could blame it on the bigots and the racists for some reason, which makes no sense to me because, like, well, you insulted the audience. Like, what do you expect? Like,
Right.
not everyone is racist and bigoted. You know, when you watch, did you ever see that famous news clip from the 1983 premiere of Return of the Jedi?
Which one?
It's made the rounds on YouTube where it's like an old news segment from like ABC News or something like that. And you look at the crowd who went to see the movie, and it's diverse. It's extremely diverse. Like, it was like all across the board. And it was like, whoa, look at that. Look at that. And
everybody went to go see it.
Yeah, and they're claiming that white nationalists, racists, watch Star Wars. Are you out of your mind? Are you kidding me? The most diverse movie ever, a strong female character, Lando Calrissian, as a hero who redeems himself. Like, are you kidding me?
Like, I mean, you'll even look at Darth Vader. His voice is, black.
James Earl Jones. Like, I mean, come on, dude. You mean to tell me that white nationalist Nazis used to watch Star Wars? No, they don't. They think that's that's against everything they believe in. So why on earth would you try to convince everyone? Like, here, El Guapo, set it here, best, right there, boom. Nerdum, it has always been diverse. When I first started going to the comic shop, I saw Asian readers, black readers, white readers, other Latino readers, women, girls were there too. Like, that's just the way it was. And for some reason, they think it was never like that. And it's like, I don't know where you're living at, but where I'm living at, it was diverse. I just don't understand. And I don't know, man. It's just one of those things where it boggles my mind. They a lot of people in Hollywood think they still live in Jim Crow era.
Yeah.
It's just what? Oh my God. Oh, thank you, Ben. Ben gave us a nice little shout out there.
Thank you.
Eric says, I like comic books. I hope others will like them too. DC still has some good stuff regardless of what people say. I dropped the book, but I regret it now. But I actually was enjoying the Godzilla King Kong versus Justice League comic book. Actually.
Yeah, I told you it was good.
Yeah. No, I know. And that's my bad. That's my bad.
Yeah, I mean, like, I also am a big DC person, and the new Gotham by Gaslight series has been pretty good.
Oh, good. Okay. Who's writing and drawing that?
It is. I don't like that they have the title or the inside the book like you have to like search for who it is that's supposed to do it. Oh, it's at the end. That's the reason why. That's weird. See the credits page at the end.
Hey, I like that. I'm a fan of that.
Andy Diggle is the writer.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know his work. He's pretty good.
Leonard Fernandez. Fernandez.
Fernandez.
Fernandez is the artist.
Okay. How's the artwork? Is it good?
It's good. Yeah, I like it. It reminds me of almost Tim Sale to an extent.
Oh, okay, that's a compliment.
You know, it's
That's a compliment.
it's got its own style in certain aspects. Like here, like look at this.
Oh yeah. Well, let me blow you up. Hold up. Oh yeah, I can see that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the Tim Sale-esque of it.
It's the influence. Definitely an influence right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eric hits it around the nail here. They stoke the flames division because it's an easy way for losers to make themselves relevant. Super Spurg, what's up, dude? I like manga now. It is better than comic books.
Yeah,
Well, I hate to break it to you, Super Spurg, but manga is Japanese for comic books. So,
well, American comic books. Probably.
yeah, I know. I'm teasing you, Super Spurg. All right, well, that sums up. That's pretty much brings us to the end of the show. I said my piece. Now the weight is off my shoulders. I got everything off my chest. It's been boiling up. It's been.
Thank you for your therapy session.
It's been building and building.
$500.
Yeah, it's been building and building up to the point where like I had it just finally it had something had to give. Something had to give. And so I just want everyone to know that I that's one of my goals. My goal is to produce comic books that shine so bright it blinds, and that it, I hope people will enjoy what I put out there. Just a quick update.
I also hope to take criticism as well, as we mentioned.
Yes. I will tell you guys now, but before I tell you guys what I want to do for the channel down the line, a quick update on Vigilant Fury and Reset Protocol. Vigilant Fury is there's a few edits that we had to do. Gambino and myself, we combed through the entire book one last time to sift through anything that may have been inconsistent, that may have been kind of off, that may have kind of contradicted anything that we wrote in the first 10 pages or so. And we've gone through that. There's a few changes that we had to tweak out because it just wasn't jiving well with the rest of the book. So Gambino has been working on those small little changes. Nothing big, no new page, nothing, just mainly panels. And so once he gets those done, printers, we're going to printers. So we're close to that. Research Protocol, the colorist, unfortunately, is going through a tough financial time right now. He reached out to me. He wants to finish. He has only 4 pages left, and I've been waiting for these 4 pages for too long. But I'm being real. I love the guy. I've worked with him for over 10 years. He's always been on point. He's always been on time. And for some reason, he's told me he just hit a rough patch this time around. And he wants me to follow through with him because he needs the money. And so I told him, okay, that's fine, but please be as quick as possible because I have backers waiting for this. I promised them the book a month ago. Like I had a delay, and I don't want to delay this any further. I don't want to have to replace you and have to find another colorist and delay the book even further. So we come to an understanding. He's doing his best. So, but again, the book is done. There's no need for any more changes, no more lettering. It's done. I just need those 4 pages that he's recoloring. Once I get those 4 pages, printers, we go. And then I'm going to start fulfilling. So what I'm going to do down the line, once I get the books to backers, I will open up the show for a special edition of Is It Worth the Pickup? Kyle will provide his critique first for whichever book he gets first, or whichever book he wants to critique first. He will give his review first, and then I'm going to open up the show to you. If you're listening to this show and you backed either Research Protocol or Vigilant Fury, I'm gonna put the link in the chat. And if you are a backer and you read the book, I'm gonna let you on the show and you get to tell me what you thought of the book. And
Wow.
and if you think it sucks, that's fine. I'll sit here, I'll take it, but you better give a good explanation as to why it sucks. Okay, because I'm not gonna just accept, well, it sucks because it sucks.
sucks.
No, I need to know details. I need to know, is my dialogue bad? Is the artwork not up to par? Is the pacing off? Is the presentation of the book as a whole off? Like, you got to let me know these things, because as I think it was Hojo who said earlier, criticism is for growth. I want to grow.
Right.
I want to pull in as many readers as possible. I don't want to be a YouTuber who gains readers because of my winning personality. I want to win readers because the work speaks for itself. Frank Miller didn't become Frank Miller because he was on the radio show and he was a shock jock or whatever. He did it because his work was top notch, and that's where I want to get to at some point in my indie comic book career. I want to get to the point where it's must read. Julius Freeman Elusive Comic Production is a must read book, no matter what I put out. It sucks. There's so many brown people. That's right. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up the show for anyone to come on, and you can let me know what you thought of Vigilant Fury or Reset Protocol. And I look forward to it, because I want to prove to everyone that I want to put my money where my mouth is. If I'm going about spewing, things about how thin-skinned most writers are, hey, well, let's put that to the test, right? Let's have you come on in person, face to face. You tell me with your own mouth. Yeah, you tell me with your own mouth.
Computer.
Yeah.
In person via computer.
I never seen your panels before. Yeah, you'll get, if you backed any of my books, Super Spurg, then you'll see them soon enough. But yeah, so look forward to that, because exactly. I'm gonna be in the hot seat this time around.
I know.
And
it's gonna be interesting. I'm not holding back.
And it will be for the entirety of the show, 2 hours. So I'm gonna try to figure out the logistics behind it. I want to see how much time I should give each person who wants to come on. Maybe I'll do like a 10-minute, maybe a 5 to 10 minute window per person who wants to come on and give their review to me, to my face. Because hey,
I can moderate. I'll be a
you can be the moderator. And the letter pages may be gone in the mainstream comics, but now they've been updated to this live streaming. This could be the new letters page of the modern era. So I look forward to it, because I do want to, like I said, want to grow, and I want to hear from you guys. You guys are the great thing about this Renaissance period that we're living in now is that we have direct access to each other. Right? Gone are the days where you could write a letter and the editor is the buffer between, the reader and the writer and artist. The editor would answer the letters on the letter page, but those days are gone, and now it's direct access. Now you can tell me. Yeah. And it's gonna be great. I'm really excited. Oh, look at it. Ooh, hey, I like that. Call this man, say it to my face.
Benjamin, I'm gonna tell you right now, you gotta copyright that right now, or it's gonna steal it.
TM, pow, right there on the corner. Hey, what's up, Justin? Good to have you, man. So yeah, just keep that in mind, guys. Make a note of it, and then hey, keep me to my word. Call me out if I get cold feet. Call me out, please. I beg you to call me out, because no one else that is gonna do what I'm gonna do. At least from what I can see, I have not seen any writer, whether professional or indie, open up their YouTube channel to actual readers and have them give reviews to their faces. So I look forward to it. It's gonna be exciting.
It's gonna be it's gonna be a big episode.
Yes, monumental. I think it's safe to say it's monumental. Got cold feet, put some socks on. If I check out the martial arts one, I would tell you my honest opinion since I've been to martial arts before. Oh, okay, even better, Super Spur.
All right.
Even better. Because I'm not a martial artist, but I am an enthusiast of martial arts. I love
But I have
martial
watched
arts.
many Jackie Chan shows.
I have watched
and
many
then
Bruce Lee
watched
movies as well.
Bruce Lee's, Jackie Chan, Kung Fu Panda. So I am now a black belt and everything.
I look forward to that, Spurberg. So before I end the show, every time I end the show, I always try to find something interesting or funny or thought-provoking online during the week. And I like to share it with you guys because that's just like the things I like to do. And I found this one video. It cracked me up because it reminded me of a little bit of my childhood in some odd way. And that's mainly because of the game consoles that are involved in this video. So I present to you a video called... Oh, there's no title on this video. It's just there's no title.
Video.
Yeah, well, there's no title. There's no title on this thing, so I don't know what to call it. Hold on, let me see. Give me a second. Let me see. Maybe it's somewhere else.
Again, we go through a testing phase before the show starts to see.
Yeah, no, there's no title. It just says this is a funny video. That's all it says here. So, without further ado, here you are.
All right.